Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I am the one and only Travis Boyd here to peruse the news so you don't have to. Now, I need to remind you that this show is rated for an 18 plus audience. If you are under 18 or are easily offended, please back out now because I don't give a fuck about vulgarity. Alright, our first story tonight. Man who thought he just had a runny nose for a year and a half finds out it was really his brain fluid leaking. For more than a year and a half, Joe Nagy's nose just wouldn't stop running. At first, he put it to year-round allergies caused by the Arizona weather. Condition occurred once or twice a week, especially when he sat up in bed. But within a short time, his nose ran constantly. His condition became unbearable, he says, as he tells Fox 10, I got to the point where I had tissues all the time. Finally goes to the doctor to be told that his runny nose was not run-of-the-mill allergies. His brain was leaking. Let's see. Caused Joe some embarrassing moments in public. Doctor diagnosed the problem fairly soon. The membrane surrounding Joe's brain had a hole in it, and the fluid was leaking out. Peter Nakaji of the Baroneurological Institute says you don't really think about it, but our brains are really just above our noses all the time. This is one of the more common conditions to be missed for a long time because so many people have runny noses. He was about to have an operation to patch the hole when he contracted a case of near-deadly meningitis and the brain fluid became infected. So they got that all sorted out. And he did get the patch. Says he underwent surgery, didn't require any cutting into the brain itself. Instead, the procedure is carried out through the nose and essentially glue was used to seal up the hole. Which, I mean, like, does that count as huffing glue? I mean, does that count? Nah. Alright, now, Ron Jeremy, the most famous man in porn, says that he will never forget his first time to have sex. The day he lost his virginity, he says that he had a hard time putting on his condom and later discovered why. Says, real story, I put the rubber on backwards and it wouldn't go on at first. The lubricated side was against me, not against her. Says, we did this by this gigantic rock near my elementary school. I was 15 or 16, she was about the same. He says, I remember the lubricated side against me, not against her, sliding back and forth. So basically, I was having sex with a rubber and not her. Wonder if Ron Jeremy uses sex dolls. Like, it seems like that would just be familiar. You know. Alright, busted by butt dial. This phone really called 911. Damn. Alright. I hate stupid criminals. Like, I hate criminals anyway. But stupid criminals really just piss you off. Because it's like, really, you tried this? You actually tried to do this. Alright. Fresno Police Department says that they had a recording of a 911 call made at approximately 11:30 p.m. on May 9th. In surprisingly decent quality, the audio documents just over half an hour in the lives of Nathan Teclamarium and Carson Reinhardt, two 20-year-olds who ended up being intercepted and charged with burglary, conspiracy, and possession of stolen property. Sergeant Jamie Rios says the 911 call was still open at the time of the arrest, and the officer took the phone and ended the call himself. The two California men were just sitting around chit-chatting when one of their phones dialed 911. The 911 dispatcher's attempts to communicate with the callers went unnoticed, likely because the phones were buried in one of their pockets. Then one of them says that they need weed, so the dispatcher decided to keep listening. They then broke into a car. Dispatcher was able to hear the men. Apparently one of the men had trouble counting out the pills and can be heard cursing before restarting his count. Man, these guys are some winners. The dispatcher was able to feed information from the call to a police officer and says it didn't take him long to find the two of them. He's following the shit out of me, bro, one of the men said once he realized the officer was tailing the car. A few moments later, they got pulled over. Well, the men tried to play it cool. "What'd I do, officer?" is heard. The situation resolved itself quickly. Officers searched the vehicle, found the stolen items, and quickly busted the two men, one of whom couldn't wrap his mind around what happened. Phone really called 911? His phone really called 911? Damn. Look at it. And for something else to warm your black little hearts, tell me seriously, who out there actually likes the Westboro Baptist Church? Like, I'm all for freedom of religion. These guys can believe whatever the hell they want to believe. But they shouldn't be telling people these things. See, they had, if you don't know who the Westboro Baptist Church is, they started out with anti-gay protests. Well, when they weren't getting enough publicity off of that, they started protesting soldiers' funerals. And in fact, even had one happen here in Oklahoma, my home state. And BACA shows up, the Bikers Against Child Abuse. They actually showed up and parked their motorcycles in front of these guys, between them and the funeral procession. Anytime these quote unquote holy rollers would start getting out of fucking control, the bikers would just rev their engines and drown them out. See, I like these guys. The bikers, anyway. This church can go fuck itself. Because everyone deserves to have a decent burial. Except for maybe like Bin Laden, or something like that. But soldiers especially. And they were even going to protest the children of the people who died in the F4 tornado at Moore. Now that is fucked up. And the reason why that they were doing this, this is actually leading into this story here. I'm not just going on a rant about these motherfuckers. Although Lord knows I could spend an hour or so on these. See, these guys think that the tornadoes happened because God was punishing Oklahoma because of how we allowed the bikers to be mean to them when they came to protest. That's what these guys actually think. They actually set up a website called God Hates Oklahoma. Now, here's the good shit. The site's contents are no longer visible to visitors. See, this site got hacked by a guy that calls himself Jester. Jester, you're my new hero right now, if you're listening. The site has been replaced by 2 pages that flip the script on Westboro. And says they like to allege that everything tragic that happens in America comes as a result of an evolving list of alleged sins. Like, something new comes up and they hate it. That's all it is. Some new form of person comes out and they don't like it. Now you go to the site and you're greeted with a painting of Jesus Christ giving the middle finger, accompanied by the message, Westboro Baptist Church. Even Jesus hates you. Now the FAP in Baptist, for those of you that don't know, that's an online term for spanking it. Now below this image is another message that reads, on the 8th day God created hackers and he saw that it was good. Moments after visiting the site, you are directed to a donation page of American Red Cross Disaster Relief, where they can make a contribution to help the Oklahomans recover from the disaster. So, Jester, out there, thank you for this. 1, thank you for helping contribute to a relief fund for a good cause. 2, thank you for helping to shit on Westboro Baptist Day. I appreciate that. And as God is my witness, I know several other people that appreciate that as well. So to you, Jester, I will raise a beer and toast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my broadcast for this evening. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a great week. And remember, when life gives you shit, punch it in the dick.